How you doing? Back once again, this time with a 1943 Mauser K98K. This is a Yugoslavian capture, which means, when I started to learn about these things, it was a little bit confusing, because there are Yugoslavian-made, Mauser rifles, where they copied the design like almost exactly. But this one is an actual German one. This is one that was a capture, which was what the Germans retreated and left it behind, or somehow just the Yugoslavians got their hands on it during the war, or slightly, I guess it could be considered slightly post-war. And they did a little bit of their own little refinishing to it by scrubbing off everything German-related, any of the marks. I mean, supposedly they say with some of these, you still find a lot of marks on it. But if your main concern is just to have a nice German-made K98, this is a good option for you if money is an object, and also if having a German crest on it, or having the German marks or swastikas here and there on them. If I never, had one of those, so I wouldn't know what exactly they are marked with. But this one, as you can see, it's marked on the top of the receiver with the Yugoslavian crest. It's like a torch, where it sort of says something in it. It's really hard to make out, but that's their crest. And and here's the that is the Yugoslavian factory mark that they put on it for the factory 44, that refinishes it or puts them back to working condition again. And but you can see right there the original model 98 that the German stamped on it is still on there. And if you look really close, I'm not sure if it's visible, I could sort of make it out myself there. Right below the crest you can see a 4 and a 3, 1943. There was a very deep, because I have seen that on Mausers, that right here there was a very deep stamp of the year, right, like punched in, where it's actually pushing metal up on the side. It's a very deep stamp. So even if they scrub it, just the compression mark that it makes on the steel leaves behind some of the marks. And you can see, if I get the light just right, you can see that there's a 3 right there, and there's a 4 right there, 4 for 43. They say that you can make out other markings if you look at it very closely that didn't fully get scrubbed off, but I can't really see much. And to tell you the truth, whoever was in charge of scrubbing this one did a really good job, because I've heard that on a lot of them, on the back of the bolt right here, there would be, I think it's called a Waffenant, it's like an eagle, it's like the German symbol that they put on these. And I found one or two when I completely disassembled this rifle. I did find one or two hidden somewhere. I just can't remember where, but I was like, oh, there's one. But I'm talking about inside. Like, I had to take it completely apart, and it was like underneath on the back somewhere. I saw a couple of them. But with this one, they did an excellent job. Whoever's job it was to remove all of the German markings really went to town on this guy. So if it is a main concern of yours that it would have original German markings, you would have to pay quite a bit more, and they actually might be a little bit harder to find. These seem to be a little bit more, a little bit more available, and is not to be confused with the Yugoslavian-made Mausers, which right away looking at them, just for me, I'm lazy and my eye doesn't always catch everything that easy, little things, but just how you can identify them very closely, quickly, is that the Yugoslavian ones, the wood on the top here, this top handguard, goes all the way back to the base of the receiver here. So this area right here would be covered with wood. You basically see this rear sight would be kind of sitting in a depression right here, and the wood would go all the way back. But then I was reading that there are certain types of German Mausers that did have wood back here. It's not a common thing. I don't know exactly. Maybe if someone could post and give us the info in the postings underneath this video, might help me out and other people out. But for the most part, if you see wood that goes all the way back to here and it's marked with different markings, there's a good chance that that's not originally German made. You know what I mean? And that the Yugoslavians supposedly had like a different type of steel that they would be able to get their hands on. So things had to be a little bit beefier. They had to build like the receiver a little bit larger. Things had to be built a little bit different dimensions to come up with enough strength, whereas the Germans had a superior steel to actually build them just like this. Now, I was really surprised when I bought this. I didn't really know much about these at all when I got my hands on it, and did a lot of research as I you know, it was like a learning experience as I owned it to find out different things about them. And they actually have an interesting history. I always knew that the 1903 Springfield was copied off this rifle, but I didn't really have much experience with the 1903 Springfield. And after owning one of these for a while, and then actually picking up and holding a 1903 Springfield, I realized how much they copied it. I mean, it's such a copied rifle. This design is just was so popular in its day. It was like so right on the cutting edge that everybody needed to have something like this. That the 1903 Springfield has a similar bolt with like similar locking lugs. The extractor, the way it rotates along the bolt, is the same. The safety, where one click up you could still operate the action, and but it kills the trigger, and another click over and now everything's locked, no trigger, no bolt. Same thing. The way you operate a mechanism on this side here to be able to pull the bolt out of the rifle. Even as far as the way this clip on the front here with this that you push in, that makes that go in, that little nub right there, go into the barrel band to be able to slide it off. Even that was the same. It was an amazing blatant copy. It's not even like they were trying to make it look like it was an accident. They just blatantly just copied it, and that really started to give me a lot of respect for this rifle. I'm like, wow, if there's got to be something to it. If that many people, even if America was like, we're gonna make a rifle and we're gonna make it just like that one. I mean, you know, they say, what do they say about imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? So, something like that. So then I really started to understand, once I really started to put some rounds down range with this thing and use it, to see how powerful that 8mm round is. It's on par with the 30-06 for sure, while ballistically, and the amount of strength to this bolt. This bolt is actually just very interesting in the fact that if you see up front there's two locking lugs up on the front. There's one here, and this is one here on the other side that's shrouded here. As a matter of fact, I could unshroud it, so you could literally just see both of them right there, those two locking lugs. And there's one locking lug down here on the bottom that locks into the back of the bolt. And the way this bolt locks up is so strong that you could fire just about any load through one of these 8mm wise and not have to worry about breaking anything. It's not like an M1 Garand where you go out and you buy some Remington core locked or something. You got to worry about bending the operating rod. You basically got to just stick to that 150 grain ball ammo, and that's really the only way you're going to be safe, knowing that you're not, destroying the gun. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to get the heaviest load you could possibly put in an 8mm, and this thing would be able to handle it all day. I would think that that's true. I really doubt you're going to have any problems just because of the strength of this design.